All right, everyone, welcome to Project 3 for EDTC 614, Introduction to Distance Learning. So today I wanted to give you kind of like the highlighted version of what you will see here in Project 3. Now, I have updated this document for the purposes of our class, and basically this one's a big one. This one's worth 40 points. Now, it's worth 40 points because this is kind of like this is a capstone kind of assignment. It's the culmination of everything that we've covered throughout the entire semester, which means we're going to take everything, combine it together, and what we're going to do is we're going to create a course proposal. Now, if you read the instructions, and I'm not going to read everything here verbatim, this is a course proposal that should describe a specific distance learning course. It could be an activity, it could be a lesson, and it could be for any specific learner audience of your choice. It could be in any educational setting of your choice. This can be a real course. This can be one that you are thinking of creating, but it doesn't exist yet, right? Or maybe this could be for a future lesson or activity that you're working on. Notice I'm interchanging the words course, activity, and lesson. It's up to you to create this. I'm going to leave that up to you. To create a course, it's going to require a lot more involvement and detail. Some of you may want to choose a lesson or a specific chapter that you want to focus on, hence an activity. I think that might be more manageable. But the way it works is you're going to choose the activity, the lesson, or the course that you want to create, and you're going to think about it, and then you're going to say, you know what, let me create this. And what we'll do is we'll create a proposal. Now, the proposal is going to be in the form of a PowerPoint or presentation. You will create the presentation. What's important is that you'll need to record this particular presentation. So you're going to record yourself using any kind of screencasting tool that you'd like, whether it's Screencastify, Screencast-O-Matic. If you wanted to use a tool like Zoom or you wanted to use some other platform, it's completely up to you. What you're going to need to do, however, is to at least have some slides that are presented. The slides can be in any tool you want, whether it's PowerPoint, Google Slides, Prezi. You could use PDF slides. I mean, look, it's up to you. I'm giving you a lot of flexibility here when it comes to how you're going to create this stuff, because the stuff that's going to be in your presentation is what's not negotiable. Okay, so once you do that, look, we provided a rubric. I'm making it very clear. Follow the rubric, follow the details that are in this form, and you'll do well. If you leave out information, if you don't follow the rubric and don't follow the outline that I provided, you're probably going to see some issues. So please make sure that you read the rubric, the topic, the format, and yes, we're coming back to it. Grammar and APA are going to play a role here, and you'll see why in a moment. So let's spend some time here in the specific course template. So after you go through the rubric, after you read it, you're going to see here the course proposal template. I've modified this template to give you exactly everything that you need based on everything that we've covered in this semester. So, first things first, you need a cover page or title slide with specific pieces of information. What's going to be your lesson title? Who's the instructor? Are you the instructor? Is someone else the instructor? More than likely, you're going to be the instructor. Are there any lesson or activity prerequisites that need to be included? How many number of sessions, how many weeks, how many hours, or how many credits, depending on whether you're creating a course, an activity, or a lesson. Are there any subsequent appropriate courses that need to be taken after this? This piece for number 7 is more so if you create a course. If not, you can skip it. But what is important is, are you dealing with a synchronous, a fully synchronous, or asynchronous course? Is it some sort of mixed or combination of the two? This is followed by, and each of these, if you haven't kind of caught on, each of these can represent at least one slide in your presentation. So I'm going to repeat that. This cover page, that's a slide. For the most part. The lesson title and the instructor, that can be one slide. You have your lesson description, that can be a slide. Your prerequisites can be a slide, and so forth. Same thing when we get to the modes of delivery. I want to not just know if it's synchronous or asynchronous, but if you have a split, how much of the time is going to be synchronous and asynchronous. So for example, do you do some sort of work in the class, which is synchronous, and then maybe you have the students work offline, asynchronously at home as part of homework? Don't know, up to you. You get to decide that. I want you also to use the pick-wrap model. The pick-wrap model, and I want you to make this one slide that explains, here's the pick-wrap model, and here's how I've decided to structure the activity of the lessons in this course. Here's what we're augmenting. Here's what we're, are we having some passive learning? Some, hopefully not. Are we doing some creative learning? Again, what are you augmenting or replacing? Use the pick-wrap model to explain your design choices for this course or this activity or lesson. Lesson delivery. How are you going to deliver this lesson? And telling me that you're going to send the link is not sufficient. I'm giving you a list of items that you should consider. The majority of these are going to be applicable for what you're trying to create. Right? Are you using some sort of learning management system? Are you going to deliver any of this via email? Or is it on a website? Or a website link and so forth? Is there any online storage that's being used, like a Google Drive, a Dropbox, a OneDrive? Are there any other additional materials that are being created, including YouTube videos or online documents or printed text? What kind of synchronous modalities are you going to use, as well as any asynchronous modalities? Right now I just listed discussion boards, but you can pick whichever one you want. Again, these are suggestions and guideposts, but we should see these highlighted here in terms of what you're going to use in your course. And if there's others that are not listed here, please include that. There might be some other things I haven't thought of that you might want to include. What are the expected student outcomes? Again, this is similar to your lesson plans. At the conclusion of this lesson, all students will be expected to do the following. You should take that same approach here as well. Now, the section that's going to probably be a little meaty, might require 2 or 3 slides, depending on your writing and explanation, is the research rationale for this course, lesson, or activity. So you want to explain any research, any suggestions on why you're making certain choices. For example, Clark and Mayer's segmenting principle, the modality principle, the multimedia principle. If these things are informing your design, you should include them and explain what they are. If you're using things like the signaling principle and so forth, again, that also includes any research that we may have conducted on connectivist learning, which is an article that I gave you last week. You may also want to consider other tools as well. Any of the research that I've provided you this semester is open and fair game for you to use in your research rationale. For example, if you use a podcast, use some of the materials that we have used previously in the course. But the catch here, though, is you need to, any research that you use, you need to cite it, and cite it using APA. This is the one section where I expect to see some APA citations. Clark and Mayer should definitely be in here. So if you may want to go back and review the APA sections or review Project 1 to make sure that you have the right formatting in place. And then finally, a description of the content in this course, and that includes what course text are you going to use? Is there a specific textbook that you're going to be using? Or open educational resource or other resources, any system requirements related to the book, any pre-work, in-class assignments, follow-up activities, etc. And last but not least, it's the course evaluation. What are the course evaluations that you should consider using? It's pretty straightforward, I think, but that's just me. Finally, any references that are used, you need to have a reference page at the end of the presentation. And you don't have to read through all of them when you get to the end. You can just say, and here are my references. Show it for a couple moments and move on. But you should list anything that you're going to include a citation for. You should include it here. So please make sure that you do so. Overall, folks, that should give you a very good understanding of what you're going to do for Project 3. I want you to be creative. My suggestion is that you also think about creating either a lesson or an activity. I think it's going to be much more manageable for you. But I strongly encourage you to start thinking about it now. Do not wait until the day of. You will have so much going on by that point, especially as we get to the end of the semester. Start thinking about your topic now. Start putting these things together, and let me know if you have any questions. I'm also going to be setting up, and I'm happy to set up some kind of like live office hours during week of Thanksgiving, and we can definitely talk more there. So with that, that's where we are. Reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks again, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your day.